So I heard that these Rotary Magazines, which I've got on my Valken M17, can get messed up if you leave them loaded for too long. So here I am in my currently ripped apart, because I'm in the middle of some projects, 440 square foot apartment, mag dumping into a canvas sack. I figured I'd make a little video. I'm running a Vortex Spark red dot and this crappy ass adjustable foregrip. Seemed pretty cool, but the pick rail attachment actually wasn't the proper size, and I had to wedge some red duct tape in there to make it fit. And then I stripped out the crappy little proprietary star-shaped attachment bolt, and then I tried to take it off and the button broke. So now it's like kind of good as long as I keep my eyes on this little button. But it's a great idea if they'd manufacture it better, because you could have it up here, kind of like a traditional rifle, wooden furniture stock, or you can have it at an angle, or vertical, or at an angle back. But yeah, I don't know. There's a space empty in the market. Someone with some good engineering sense come along and make one of these that works. And there's my Valken. So here's a closer look at the setup. Like I said, I got bamboozled into buying this foregrip that I thought was a pretty novel idea, but unfortunately the implementation is less than ideal. It's got this button that used to have a spring in it, so it was like a momentary switch which releases the movement. And now I have to kind of manually set it with my hand. But it still locks, so you can have it in the front like a traditional grip on a wooden stock. You can have it at 45 degrees. So you get kind of back pressure into your shoulder, obviously the standard vertical position, and then 45 degrees in the other direction, but unfortunately that does push slightly on the magazine and can result in jams. And then if this was, much further up on a longer barrel, you would have the option of 180 degrees towards the stock. This marker, this less lethal, is pretty cool because it comes standard with Picatinny on it, so that enabled me to affix a Surefire, which has a momentary as well as constant, and it's on this little hinge, so depending on where I have the grip and what's going on, I can move it around. And the distance from the end of the barrel fortunately doesn't result in any shadows. It comes with flip-up polymer iron sights, which aren't bad. They're pretty cool. It's like a post sight with an incomplete captive ring type situation, and then you flip them back down, you gotta pull that out of the way. It's a little bit difficult to do with one hand. The rear sight is the same scenario. It's constructed slightly differently. So it's got a couple of different options. Can make it significantly smaller or larger, and then again it's polymer and held in place by this little spring-loaded clip, but neither of those are really too important to me because I've got this Vortex Spark on here, red dot. It's pretty good. I've got another one on my Virtus. I like it. I gotta clean this one. I got a little bit of thumb smudges on it. And for anybody that doesn't realize, you have something like this, they come with these rubber caps and you're pulling them back and thinking, what the fuck, they're flapping around. They make the front one a little deeper with an indent so that you can fold the front one into the back one and press them and they stick together. It's probably obvious to most people, but it took me a minute to figure it out. These were my first red dots. And obviously it takes the 18 round magazines, of which I am in possession of 6, and they are spring loaded. So you tighten up that spring kind of similar to the idea of a drum magazine, and then pop your ammunition in through the top. I just learned the other day that it's not best practice to keep them loaded because it'll wear out the mechanism, so now I have 6 empty magazines. I just mag dumped them into that laundry bag. Additionally, it has nice stock mounting points, unlike the Virtus, which has QD points that are actually cheap plastic and not milled to be the correct size to actually function with anything, so presumably they're just cosmetic. I learned that the hard way after ripping one out, and then actually got some help from a really cool guy on Etsy who runs a shop called Hooks and Horns, or Horns and Hooks. I'll put it up here. And he custom made me a couple of solutions out of this webbing to make my mount to my Virtus of my sling a little easier. But this one, that's no problem because it comes with adequate mounting points right out of the box. I did, however, purchase this aftermarket. This is a valve that you can attach so that you can leave your PCP bottle attached to the weapon and not worry about leakage. You're closing off the connection between the air system in the inside of the gun and the PCP bottle. So this is extra, aftermarket kind of thing. And then otherwise, it's just a standard 3000 PSI bottle and a telescoping stock. This really cool paracord sling. And that's about the size of it. Would recommend.